my intention is not to make you hungry with this speech, but think about the milk that you had with supper last night. Think about the fruits and vegetables that you're gonna have for lunch today. Think about that yummy steak you had a couple days ago, or the chicken salad sandwich that's waiting for you in the fridge at home. You can even think about the cotton that your shirt's made out of. Most of you know where these things have come from, but what happens behind the scenes of all these products? First comes the agriculture, which happens with these tractors here. The plowing, the cultivating, the digging up the land. But then comes the agribusiness, which is the business within the agriculture. Most of our thoughts for our futures don't lie within agriculture for most of us here, but it might end up being just that. The book Cooperatives in Agribusiness tells us that 1/5 of jobs within the American workforce are through agribusiness. However, most of us choose to go into the medical field or into the commercial world of business instead. Why have we all made these decisions? Maybe it's because we live in a town that is not exposed to what lies beyond the borders. I myself have lived beyond these borders my whole life. Living on a farm has sparked my interest in the possibility to go into the field which I'm going to talk to you about today. Today I'm going to inform you about agribusiness and the different careers you can pursue within this degree. Before we get into the heat of things, I'm going to explain a little deeper into what agribusiness is, being most of us are not familiar with the topic. Agribusiness, as I said before, is business within agriculture. As Dr. Ronald B. Larson says in his article addressing the needs of the agribusiness fringe, there are 5 things that set agribusiness off from all other firms. The first is that it has a unique culture. The second is the uncertainty behind all productions. The third is the goals and the political interventions that happen throughout agribusiness. The fourth is the contribution to the development in technology. And the last one is the variety in the competitive structures. All 5 of these things set agribusiness off from all other degrees and firms. Larson also gives a statement that agribusiness is unique because it requires many disciplinary approaches and addresses the issues for the firm, the interfirm, and the market levels. He later describes agribusiness as food and kindred product manufacturers, apparel and other finished product manufacturers, food stores, apparel and hosiery stores, and eating and drinking places. All in all, that says just about everything. This quote shows us that agribusiness is quite literally everywhere. Even further into Larson's writings, he describes agribusiness as any kind of product that is made from a farm commodity. So based off of the 2 definitions that Larson gives us, we can find agribusiness in supermarkets, in restaurants, in textile manufacturers, in clothing retailers, in paper mills and printers, in lumber yards and home builders, wholesale nurseries, florists, landscapers, and even more than those. The background of agribusiness is crucial to know when choosing a degree for college. It is also crucial to know what type of education is needed to pursue a degree in this field, to pursue a job in this field. FFA New Horizons tells us in their career overview of agribusiness systems that this career pathway is best suited for those who work best in groups and can work well with others. They also say that experience and knowledge of the business field are great ways to be successful in agribusiness. Cooperatives in Agribusiness tells us that there are tens of thousands of jobs available in the agribusiness field every year, no matter what kind of degree that you have. Even if you only have a high school degree, you can go into the agribusiness field. The only downfall of getting a job right out of high school would be your salary. This would only be affected because if you have a master's degree, you're obviously going to get a higher salary than if you just have your high school degree coming out of high school. Kumbakazi Fairloy in the Agribusiness Career Challenge tells us that there will be 48,000 jobs in agribusiness this year, and that he also tells us that we're going to fall 4,000 short of that number. He goes on to say that agribusiness is a job seekers market, and it is going to continue to grow. He says that ag-related jobs comprise of 17% of the metropolitan area jobs. Agribusiness is big, and it's only big because farmers depend on off-farm sources, such as fertilizers, seeds, pesticides, etc. This shows that education is very important. Now we will transition into what we can do with these types of jobs. There are many professions you can pursue post-high school after receiving an agribusiness degree. The first one I'm going to talk about is an agribusiness journalist. Rick Roche talks about journalism in his review of Eating Tomorrow, Agribusiness Family Farms, and the Battle for the Future of Food. He talks about travels, though not his own, to Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, Mexico, and India. He talks about the Green Revolution and how there is land being stolen from farmers around the world, and that some governments are forcing them to buy the expensive fertilizers instead of the cheaper brands. This is only one example of an agribusiness journalist, though there are thousands more to go along with it. I will also talk to you about management in agribusiness. According to Robert Burton, in Teaching Management for Specialized Agricultural Industries, there are many different tasks an agribusiness manager can do, such as biological production, marketing, finance, operations, accounting, and personal and government compliances. Though there are many different jobs a manager can do, he will not have to do every single one of these. Most managers have teams, so there are more than one manager to tackle all of these tasks. He also goes on to say that a major difficulty within managing is communication. But wouldn't you rather work in a team? Marketing in agribusiness is another thing you could pursue. Burton also says that production efficiency is critical, obviously, and if one wants to survive and succeed in agriculture. He enlightens us on the oligospany market and how this has made very high levels of strategy development through farmers. He talks about how farmers do not have to compete necessarily with each other for the lowest price, but with the market itself. Marketing in agribusiness involves managing output markets, which is where they would teach you about the oligospany market. The next I will talk about is agribusiness accounting. Accountants supply information to agribusiness managers, is what Burton tells us. So it's basically a tag team deal. He mentions how farmers do not use proper accounting principles, but agribusinesses do. He talks about accountant managers working with money. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Have you ever heard the quote, "You work with money, you make money"? Who doesn't like money, right? Now, if any of these professions strike your interest, then maybe agribusiness is right for you. I have now given you a brief overview of agribusiness and the different careers you can pursue within this degree. The next time you think about the fruits and vegetables sitting in front of you or the meats that sit on your kitchen table, don't just think about what these tractors do to get that in front of you. Think about everything that happened to get it where it is today. Think about how many people it took to get these things in front of you. Think about the agribusiness.